What up, folks? What up? What up? What up? You see these beautiful faces. You hear that theme music. We are the Let's Get Canceled podcast. I'm your boy, Tommy with an H. I'm the voice of the people. I speak for y'all.
And I'm your boy, Big Tech Dog, your favorite friendly, lovable, loud mouth. Hey, yo, cousin.
What up, cousin?
You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get canceled.
All right, so on tonight's episode, we've got a question for you all as we have started for this particular season. So the question is, who's to blame for the state of the men right now? Right now. Who's to blame for the state of the men that we all have to see and deal with on a daily basis? So that's going to be our main topic. But to start off, we've had a lot of deaths of men for especially in the last few months, but over the last years. So we're going to discuss men's health a little bit. So cousin,
listen, man.
What are your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, we just found out that John Amos. Yeah. James Evans, for y'all who really don't know. James Evans. Damn. That's
damn, James done died for real.
Yeah. And what's really bad about it is that he died apparently back on August 21st.
Yeah.
August 21st, he passed away. And we, along with apparently, and these are just things that we're seeing online right now, you know how when something happens, there are a lot of rumors and a lot of conjecture around it. But apparently, the daughter just found out, as well as the rest of us. Which
is crazy.
If that's the case, man, I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with the history there for over the last few years with that family, between family members and between the family and medical professionals, a lot of different stuff like that. Listen, man, if you got beef with somebody in your family, especially as close as a sibling, and it's bad enough where your mama or your father pass away and they don't find out about it, you got to fix that, man.
For a month? Yeah, definitely. And before we go too deep into that part, put the timer up, because we got to make sure we stay on time. We got to make sure we stay on time.
Coming right now.
Got to make sure we stay on time. All right. So, but yeah, as you were saying, man, if there is a situation in your family where you aren't speaking to your siblings and your parent dies, there's got to be something inside of you that says, I got to let them know. Not let it last a month. Let them be gone for a month.
Right.
And I just don't understand it. Me and my sisters, I know we would never get to the point where we're not speaking because we don't care about feelings. I don't care about your feelings. F your feelings. You're mine. I'm yours forever and a day. You can be mad all you want to, but you better call me and tell me you made it home okay. One of them situations. So it's like, I know that's not something that I will ever have to deal with. However, if for whatever reason something happened to my parent and they didn't call me, one of us would be going to visit my parent real soon. That's how deep that's going to go for me. So one of us has to go see them. Because there's no way that you could call me and be like, yeah, last month something happened to our parent. Or even if I see it on the internet first, TMZ reports it to me,
it's a problem.
Bro. I just could not imagine what that family is going through. So whatever it is, I hope they get it figured out, because family's forever. I don't really care. I know I see online a lot of people like, you don't have to take this from your family. You can cut them off too. I just don't see it that way. I just don't. That's just not something I subscribe to. So I really hope that family gets it together and gets their lives back on track, because that is a terrible thing to lose a parent and to not know. I just could not imagine what that's like.
Well, I will tell you this. Let me tell you something positive I took out of this. And not specifically the James Avery, John Amos situation. We lost a lot of icons.
Yes.
Black icons. But here's the good takeaway. Prior to this time period, we spoke a lot about African-American men's health and the fact that we were dying young and we're dying from curable diseases. We're dying from things that are preventable. Well, most of these guys are older guys. I think you were telling me before, the average lifespan,
74.8 years.
74.8 years. We're talking dudes that dying at 75, 80, 81,
right.
82.
Right.
That's a beautiful thing, man. And we're recently, I think we lost. Not only did we lose John Amos, we lost Dikembe Mutombo
Hmm.
the other day. He was younger, but he had brain cancer.
Right. Brain
Um,
cancer for him.
we lost
Tito.
Tito Jackson. He was older. Tito was
Mhm.
70.
Yeah, he's somewhere around in
Yeah, somewhere in there.
70 somewhere. I think he made it close to the
The
average.
average, right.
James Earl Jones was
James Earl
well
Jones,
above.
well
Right.
over.
Yeah. And
Well,
Carl Weathers.
Carl Withers, we lost Apollo Creed, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That one hurt me, man, because
Yeah.
y'all know that Tommy with H always quotes that if he dies,
If he
dies.
dies, he dies.
And I'll be doggone, he done died, Sharon. So,
He died. He died. Hey, somebody they ain't throwing the towel.
it's promising, bro. It's promising to see that now we tend to be outside of violence and drugs. We're doing better, and it seems
Right.
like black men are doing better, and it's that generation of our parents and grandparents that
Right.
would have done that really made that change and kind of started trending more towards paying attention to the health. We don't always do the right thing. We don't always do it the way we're supposed to, but
Indeed.
we've been
And I
trending
think
that way.
that's a part of the thing also is that with the advances in technology and the advances of medicine that have been made, we have a way to get through some of those things if we detect them early enough. And I think
Right.
that's where I wanted to bring this particular question is like, what is killing men? Because it's not just the black men. I'm going with all men here, but what's killing the men? And it's like heart disease. We're 50% more likely to die of heart disease than women.
Yep.
And then we avoid doctors. Like we will skip our routine health checkups for any excuse. We give any excuse not to go to a doctor. And then they're also saying that social connections, men don't have those peer groups, those social groups
Right.
that they interact with regularly. And that's something that can extend life. So that's just something that I'm looking at. I think the thing that gets me right now is the avoiding doctors portion of that.
Well, you got to remember, man, there's a stigma around men talking to each other about their health that's not there in the female community. For instance, the test, your self-test for breast cancer is similar to the self-test for testicular cancer.
Right.
How many times I'm sure you know females in your life who talk to each other, go, oh yeah, well, I felt something right here.
Indeed.
Brothers ain't getting ready to be like, bro, I was feeling something on my balls. Like,
right.
That's not
why you playing with yourself? Why you playing with yourself, bro?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's definitely that. And we have this thing about, I guess, being men and I'm tough and I can take it and whatever's wrong with me, I'll get over it. Like our fathers had that until, especially as they were around our age group. There were times where we would see things and we was like, what's going on? Oh, I'm okay. Now that they're older and we're the adults, hey, bro,
get your ass to the hospital.
You need me to take you? Do I need to come home? Like those sorts of things. So it's like now we understand a little bit better. But now that I'm at that age, I'm sitting here and I have beef right now. Just turned 45. It's time for them to stick their hand in my ass, and I just cannot do it. There has to be a better way. There has to be a better way than sticking your knuckles in my asshole.
You would have thought that by this time we would have came up with a non-invasive procedure to figure that out.
I have been discussing this with my doctor since I was about 30 years old because I knew and back then it was like at 40 you got to do it, and then once I start creeping up on 40 they were like, well, 45. So now I'm thinking like, okay, and I get that text message like, hey, you need to schedule your physical, and I'm like, I know what's going to come along with this physical. They're going to try to stick their knuckle in my asshole, and it's just that man in me that I'm just scared to do it, and I get in trouble every day right about now for not having that scheduled, and we've got to do better. I'm gonna talk to all the bros out there, but I'm talking to myself also. I got to talk myself into it. We got to do it. We got to do it. We have to do it because we can't avoid it. Like I go in for everything else. I go to a dentist. I'll go to a chiropractor. I'll go but that bend over and let me stick my knuckles in your ass. So that one right there Like you can come jab me. You can give me what? Just don't make me do that one. Don't make me do that one. So
Listen, man,
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something about fear. One of my clients, and of course I'm not gonna say his name, but I had a talk with him a few weeks ago, and he sat right in my office and he let me know. He's like, listen, man, I'm the youngest of however many boys. There's a bunch of kids. And he told me, he said, none of my siblings made it out of their 60s.
Wow.
None of them. And I was like, really? And while talking, he was just like, yeah, well, this one and this one and this one and this one. And he ran down literally 5, 6 siblings, male and female, who all died. And a lot of it was cancer. And I'm talking to him. I'm like, well, you need to get. He's like, man, I don't want to be a burden on people. I don't want to do this. I want to do that. And he said, right. And he said to me, he's like, yeah, well, my doctor calls or my oncologist calls. Said, stop right there. What you mean? How you got an oncologist and you don't have it? He goes, yeah, I went to do a physical and they found something. I just never went back. I'm like, brother.
That's that sign of weakness that I don't want to be a burden to someone else. And that's why a lot of men will also avoid, because it's the fear of they will find something, for one. And then if they do, how are people going to treat me? Are people going to treat me differently because I'm not able? And they're going to stop me from doing the things I want to do. They're going to check on me a little more. They're going to be a little too hands-on with me. And I want my freedom. And again, if it's going to prolong your life, guys, you have to do it. You need to know. You need to know. Now, my wife always asked me, she was like, if you found out something was wrong with you, would you tell me? And I think this is the biggest thing. I would not. I wouldn't.
I probably would.
If I had if it was something that was gonna kill me, like guaranteed to kill me, I wouldn't let her know. I wouldn't tell her. I would not.
Really?
I couldn't prepare her for that. I could not. I couldn't have it in me. Because it's gonna be too many tears, and I would much rather not see the tears. I know it's selfish.
I was going to say that's the most selfish thing I've ever heard you say.
But that's why I don't have no kids, because I'm selfish. Well, I got no kids because I can't make no babies, but also because I'm selfish. And if it's about going to pick you up from soccer practice or me sitting at home and having a drink, you'll get left at soccer practice way more often than you should. So that's a part of my problem. But yeah, if there was a debilitating situation that I came across, yeah, I would not tell. And she knows it, and she's pissed off about it.
I bet.
So
well, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you right now, right this second, and you don't even know this. Right this second, I am right now in the middle of between me and my doctor and trying to figure some stuff out. Right? Nothing I don't think is going to be life threatening or severely life altering. I hope not. But it's some, you know what I'm saying? And it took me a minute to actually go to the doctor, and then now, and the other part of it is just knowing that now that I go to the doctor, now I've got to go to this specialist, and then I got to go to this appointment, and I got to go do this, and I got to go do that, and so now it's a whole long ordeal. And the fact that I got kids, and I'm just like, man, what if something happened to me right now, and I didn't spend all this time raising these kids, and when we get to the end where I'm supposed to be spending some time with my wife, where it's just me and her, and now I'm gonna be sickly. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of those fears, but I think that kind of turns this to our main topic tonight.
Yeah.
I think we kind of bend into that with what's going on with the state of today's men.
Yeah. And for me, I am going to direct a lot of my thought to the women, because how did we get here? How did we get to this point of where the men stand right now? I place a majority of the blame.
A majority?
A majority. Not all. I'm gonna say it's probably about 60-40, somewhere around there. I may be a few percentage points off, but I'm gonna direct mine towards the women. And now let me get this out of the way right now so I can finish my talk. Guys who abandon their kids, they're suckers.
Yes, sir.
Guys who end up doing stupid shit and being taken away from their kids, they're suckers. Guys who blame their baby mamas for not being around their kids, you're suckers. So this, we already know, ladies, like, hey, if their dad was there, it would be different. We understand that. But see what happens when you say but, you erase everything you just said before that. So all
Yep.
that stuff I just said is irrelevant to this particular conversation. This is about the guys that you raise and the guys that you allow to be around. That's your fault. That's on you. And that's how we end up with these ain't shit niggas.
Well, wait a minute now. Let's get specific then, because we purposely make these prompts broad, so it fosters conversation in many different directions.
Right.
When you're talking about who's to blame for the state of today's men, I think it's important that at this point you define where you think the state of today's men is.
Today's men are there are a few different things, but a lot of them are either wannabe gangsters, are they super soft, women calling them sassy, they're deadbeats. They are not what I consider traditional men.
Right.
They're not stand-up guys. They're not good people. And that's where we have a lot of problems. And you see a lot of these other pods out here where they have the beefs with well, women did this and women did that. Like, I'm going to get into some of that, but again, I'm not going to say it's solely your fault. I'm going to talk about the part that is their fault. So I've had this thing, and I'm gonna go on for a little quick minute. So I'm gonna let you jump in here. But I've had this thing.
No, you got it. It's all yours.
I've had this thing for a while where I said, if it were not for women dating thugs, there would be no thugs.
True.
If it were not for women, guys, we wouldn't cut our hair, we wouldn't wash our ass. We do everything for women. So if that's the point, all the bad boys that the girls love, if they stop fucking with them and start fucking with the nerds, there would be no more bad boys. There would be no need for it. If they don't run after the niggas with the money, the niggas wouldn't go out there chasing money. They would try to be better men. So everything we do for women. So if that's the point, women, you are in 100% control of how men operate and how we move. So your fault. That's where I start. Because dude, we wouldn't do a thing if it were not for trying to impress a woman.
I will agree with you on that. I think that most men do most of the things they do for the approval of women. That's a very general statement. I think specifically, if you were to be more blunt about it, if women stop screwing ain't shit niggas.
Oh, that's right. That was going to be the next thing I came out with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Proceed,
no, because I wasn't going to say screwing. I was going to say if niggas who wasn't shit stopped getting pussy, there would be less not shit niggas.
That is absolutely correct, sir. And what I think females fail to realize is that you are complaining about the nigga you gave you to. Like, how are you complaining about dudes, two dudes, about dudes that you've been with? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Right. And then they say, oh, the dude wasn't the same guy. He fooled me. He's put his representative out there. And he very well may have.
From the dawn of time, he has been doing that.
Right.
I think Adam said, hey, look, I can do this for you. I can do that for you. Told Eve all that same stuff. And you know what she did? She still ran after the snake.
Right.
You know what? Don't even, you back on your own.
Anyway,
Here, back on
Because I'm gonna let you get yours. But that's the thing. Like, he may have definitely given you a representation of himself that was not his true self, but you ain't have to fuck him. You didn't have to get started. You didn't have to go that far. You didn't have to make children with him before you found out who he truly was. Now, is it gonna make you a little horny sometime? Yeah, but you do not have to fuck everything that comes around because he's nice to you. Sometimes you got to make niggas wait. And if you wasn't giving out pussy so quickly, then these niggas would act a little bit better. and they would put on that front for a little longer. And after a while, if you acting, you're gonna forget. You will forget after a while, and then your true self will come out, and she will know better. But what happens is you fuck them so soon, and then you end up knocked up by him, and then you end up with a baby, and then he walks away because
And
that's
this
all
is
he
where I'm
wanted.
going to disagree with you. This is
Mhm.
where this is where we will diverge, sir.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
I don't believe that the time frame that you take to involve yourself intimately with someone. You like the way I said that. That was real. That was
I
real
did.
nice.
I did. I use your words. Use your
Well,
good words.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dictate necessarily the outcome of that relationship. I think the problem is that because you've been intimate with someone, now you think it's a relationship. There's your problem. Now, here's the other thing. You don't get to complain about what you indulge in. If you're going to indulge in it, that nigga was, you knew he was thugging before you met him. You heard about him. That's the only reason you in his face now.
Right.
That nigga, so you knew by the way he dressed, you knew by the way he carried himself, you knew by the way he approached you. There used to be a time, hey ma, hey, ma, hey. If you respond to that, guess what? I already
We
knew
knew who you were.
You knew who you were because you responded to that and with a grin or with a smile or whatever.
You
So
say
we know where we
red,
can go.
red. Oh,
Right.
that's black.
Yeah. And now it's all he said this to me. He approached me. I should have known when it don't should have known. You did know.
Right.
You did know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I
But you do get a lot of them that say that he showed up with his representative, meaning he did not exude any of that when he met me.
Right, says the woman with the fake eyelashes, fake hair, the BBL and the push-up bra. Come on, bro. Like
right.
you don't get to get away with that. You showed up, your representative met his representative. The problem is that he saw what your representative was and dealt with it. You saw what his representative was, and now you mad.
Right.
I'm sorry, that's on you, ma.
And I didn't know he was going to be this way. Well, you didn't have to have a kid with him at that particular point. There could have been something else that was done. And I'm not an advocate for abortion at all. I'm not an advocate for abortion at all. However, you have options. You had options. I'm not sure what your state says now with these new changes that have been made, but
thanks, Don.
There were other options because you knew. Some of you knew, like, yeah, he ain't gonna be around, and I'm gonna end up raising this kid on my own. Yep. And there's another thing that we come to is once you have this kid on your own, you know it's gonna be just you. There are a majority of women, I'm gonna give it the overwhelming majority, do a great job of raising young men. But I would say about 60%. The numbers say is about 40, I think it was 41% that keep their kids out of lockup. 60% keep their kids out of lockup. It's about 40 of them that end up in lockup.
That's same a low bar for a good
same thing with single fathers. Same thing with single fathers. I think it's 41 for single mothers, 40.6 for single fathers. So same rules apply. It doesn't matter. You need both parents in the household. But tonight we're focusing on where the women's side with this and the accountability portion. They say a woman can't raise a man. There are things you can't teach the man, but you can raise him. And that's where we miss a lot because people saying you can't do it without a man. There's a bunch of them that have done it without a man. However, there are things that he will need to learn from a male figure. But you can raise a good man, but you do need to teach accountability. And that's where a lot of mothers fall because you're either holding things against him because of his father, or you're trying to hold on to him because his father left. So you're trying to keep him close and you coddle him and you don't teach him accountability.
and then you end up with a yes queen. That's what you end up with. You know what I'm
You
saying?
end up with the young. Yeah, you end up with.
You can't fix that. You can't fix that. Don't try. I see what you're trying to do. You can't fix that. No. And I mentioned I'm gonna stand on it.
You end up with one of them floaters out there.
Hey, listen, man. Listen. The problem is what I have an issue with some of the stuff that you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, any woman who has a kid with a man and turns around and blames that man for sticking you with a kid needs to look in the mirror, open her top drawer.
Not every woman.
Every woman that has a kid with a man and then blames that man for her being stuck with the kid needs to open her top drawer while looking in the mirror, reach in there, grab whatever thing sharp is in there, and stab herself in the chest. And this is let me explain. Let me explain.
Put yourself up for this one.
This is what I mean.
I need to scroll.
No way. I don't have it on this one. Sorry. This is the thing. In order for you to have a kid, it takes two people. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you get some other medical intervention.
Mm-hmm.
That means that you had sex with this man and either A, didn't take your birth control, B, let him shoot the club up,
Boom, 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 boom.
or you didn't force him to wear any type of contraception. Well, he said that right there, when you start saying, but he said, or he did, or he whatever, if you were not raped, and this is what I'm talking about, I said aloud. That's why I use that
Right.
word. I'm not talking about these little punk niggas who just out here beating up women and taking
they're never in the conversation of
never. What I'm saying is that you and another person made a consensual decision, and now you're pregnant. Did you think that something was going to happen where he was going to have to carry the baby? No. You passed biology, I hope.
Mm-hmm. If you're having babies, I hope you pass something.
Right. So what happens is you end up with this baby. And now instead of looking in the mirror and saying, you know what, I made a bad decision, he made bad decisions, and now we have this kid. Instead, it's I'm in this situation because of him. I mean, no, that nigga didn't lay down and screw himself.
True. That is the truth. That is the truth. However, and again, I wanted to remove them out of the equation early.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are some ain't shit niggas that will go in here and make babies and then just walk the fuck away.
Yeah. But you know what? What I'm saying is I'm not absolving them of any wrongdoing, but what I am saying is that she's got a problem. She's the one who
she knew better as well. She don't have to kill herself when you because
I didn't say kill herself. I said stab herself. Just a little poke.
Yeah,
I don't want her to die.
Just gonna scratch herself with the razor.
Do whatever she got to do.
Like the N-word in her chest.
Right, but then because I don't want her to die, because then now my tax dollars got to pay for this baby.
Yeah, but it's just one of those situations, man, where a lot of times you have these kids at home with mom, and mom is not doing the right things. And again, majority of the time they are, but there are way too many moms who don't know what to do and they want to blame someone else. And as far as getting these soft little boys that's out here not knowing what to do with life, and right now the women are calling all the men sassy and all this other stuff here. So you're raising your young man to act like the niggas that you date?
It's because let me tell you where we took a wrong turn. Where I think they took a wrong turn. So we have these thug niggas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so all the females started like, oh, I want a bad boy. I like bad boys.
That was the thing for a long while. And probably still is.
Right. So that was this extreme. Well, then they went the complete opposite extreme. Oh, I want a sensitive man. I want someone who does this all. And so what happened? There was no middle ground. Nobody stood up and goes, you know what? What I really want is a dude who ain't gonna smack me around, but who also understands sensitivity. You know what I'm saying? I don't want him to be no punk, but I don't want him to be taking his aggression out on me. And instead, you went always to the left side. So now when you done got all the way over to that side,
Trying to reel it back.
Right. Now you done created these little sassy sweet boys who ain't got
Right.
no backbone. They twisting down the road and then get mad at you if you say, "Hey, bro, are you gay?"
Right.
Like, what? I'm not. If you do your hand like this
Right.
thing right here, I'm sorry, bro. Like that's something.
But all they know is their mama and her homegirls, because what they do, you sneaking the niggas in the middle of the night now because you don't want your son. I just can't see him. He can't see me around a bunch of niggas, so he can't meet every man I date. So now you sneaking niggas in the middle of the night, and all your kid has is your homegirls that he's around all day, every day. So the traits that he pick up, he may not be gay, but the traits that he's gonna have, his actions are gonna show feminine. So now when he goes out amongst his peers, he's getting bullied. So now he has to fight every day because they think he's gay. They think he's soft because he acts like a woman. He's saying the things that his mom said. He's using the catchphrases. He popping his ass to the songs that these women are playing nowadays. So now, because those are the dances that he knows, because all he has to go on is what my mama and her homegirls do. So that's a major problem for me. Also, is your kid does not need to be that way. He doesn't need to be around all of that all of the time. Like sometimes you got to leave the kids in the kids' place.
If these mamas would start realizing that their sons are their sons and not their mate,
not their boyfriends,
because daddy is gone. So now you the man of the house. No, he's not. He's
right.
12. He's 12. He's not the man of the house. You know what I'm saying? If you need a man in the house, you need to go find you a man for the house.
Right. Let kids stay in the kids' place. But that's one of the problems is you're the only male in the house. Now you're the man of the house.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. And this is why this goes to the third type of man that they're creating is them loudmouth soft niggas. And by loudmouth soft niggas, these young men who have had to be the man of the house for the longest time, their mama been gassing them up like, oh yeah, baby, he's so protective of me. He gonna run into a nigga like me, and I'm gonna take his fronts out. Right. And because he was disrespectful.
Right.
I am 43 years old. 43 years old. If I meet a man who is older than me, I respond to that man as yes, sir, no, sir, out of respect. I got clients right now who are 60, 70 years old. And I say, hey, listen, man, you my OG. I say, I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life.
Right.
I defer to you. But what I am saying is that when I look at you, I had a client who got mad at this one lady and he cussed all the women out. They was all types of everything. And he was saying some foul stuff. And I told him, I said, hey, bro, I said, you my OG. I said, so when I look at you, think about that, man. I'm looking up to you, regardless of what your situation is. And I'm hearing you talk to these women like this.
Right.
And he was just like, yeah, man, I didn't even think about it like that, bro. And that's the type of conversation we had. But what y'all doing, y'all have created these little loudmouth dudes who think, well, I got to protect my mama. And what they do, they run up on somebody like me. And I say, oh, excuse me, ma'am. Or you, with your loud mouth, say something out the way to me. And I'm like, hey, watch your mouth. And now he feel like he got to come and protect you. And now you done got your son knocked out.
Right. But that's one of the things for me that even the younger guys, like, I'm going to say, sir, you don't even have to be a full adult, but hey, excuse me, sir. And I'm going to talk to the young guys. Like, I'm not going to try to little boy you, none of that stuff there. It's like, we're going to respect, because I want you to understand that you are going to be a man. You are a sir. So there is a certain respect that you need to require of everyone, but also of yourself. So when you go to the next man, you're not looking at some older guy or even someone your own age and being disrespectful and nigga this, nigga that. Is sir, yes, sir. But that again may just be me being raised.
Right. You were actually raised. You weren't pointed in a direction and told to go figure it out. You were raised. You were
right. I was allowed to be a kid.
Right.
I was allowed to grow up. There were certain things I had no ideas of. Because right now, like, you see some of these young guys, like, your parent telling you today in financial struggles, like, you should never know that. You should never know.
The closest I got to that was, no, I ain't got money for that.
Right.
It
But for
wasn't
me
never
to
like,
tell
hey,
you
we
that,
getting ready to be kicked out. We ain't gonna be evicted.
right,
None of that
right,
mess. No,
right.
sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Like,
here's the other thing, and I think I may have said this before, but it bears repeating. I do not believe in the saying you got to give respect to get respect.
right. No, I do not. I do not.
I believe that every person that I meet, regardless of what I even heard about you, you deserve my respect until you lose it.
You got to
I mean,
give disrespect to get disrespect out of me.
thank you.
That's
That's it. Yeah,
I'm showing up with respect regardless of. You got
absolutely.
to give disrespect before I turn to something like that. But you got to give it to get it. No, 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 no. I'm coming with
No.
respect anyway, and
Right. You're gonna get that respect from me off
it's going to
front.
be up to you where it moves from there. But as far as you got to, oh nah, no, that's not
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
life. That's not life, because if you're gonna always match energies with somebody else or wait until somebody says something
That used to be a
positive
feminine thing.
before you do, like, that makes no sense to me at all.
That used to be a feminine thing.
Yes, yeah.
That
Oh
whole
my goodness.
idea of matching energy, like, yo, what are you talking
Yes,
about?
yes,
As
yes.
men, right? So I can one of the things that I've had to teach in groups and things was, listen, man, imagine waking up this morning, right? As a kid, you're a kid, you wake up and your mama's yelling at you, your daddy's yelling at you, you're late, you missed the school bus, and now they fussed at you the whole way to school because they got to get up and take you to school. Then you get to
Mhm.
school and your teacher got an attitude and they fussing, all this other stuff, and you go through that whole day and you get back home and now you done got grounded because they done found out all this other stuff. You got in all of that stuff. Then you go to the store and you run into somebody else, another person, and they're rude, and you're like, "What was that?" Well, you don't know. Maybe they had the same type of day that you had, so
Right,
you've already got an attitude because you've had a rough day, and then you meet someone who's having a rough day, or maybe they're having a great day, and they run into you, and instead of deferring and saying, "You know what? Maybe the person had a rough day. Let me not pop off
right,
or match energy." They
right.
gonna go ahead. You
And give
well,
you a
he was
pass
this,
today.
he was that. Come on, bro. Like, females do that. Men used to be like, "Hey, bro, okay, you know what? No
Right,
disrespect, my brother. All right, cool.
right,
I'm gonna go ahead and move
right,
on.
right.
Everything ain't got to be a fight. Everything ain't got to be a shootout. Everything ain't got to be violent. You know what? I'm gonna let you slide on that one, homie. My
Right.
bad. You
Well,
know what? I didn't mean to step on your toes. We roll out.
that's what men did. And
Right,
now we've gotten to a point where it hasn't been passed down. It hasn't been passed down. But here's the thing: women knew that also. They knew men would not do certain things. So that's something that can be passed down to your son, even if the father or man, a male figure, is not around. You can still teach your son to de-escalate situations, to use
right,
his words and not always pop off and be emotional. Because that's one of the situations that we're dealing with now is men are acting off of emotion, pure
right.
emotion. And there used to be a time where you would hold on to that and channel it in a positive way. And now it's coming right back to whomever's standing in front of you at the moment.
Right.
And you have these women now saying the men are too sassy because they ask questions. They want to talk things out. And now he's talking too much. Or you got these mothers that tell their sons, if she say this and she put her hands on you, you got to beat her back. Like, there's there was a time when you don't hit a woman. You don't do that. Now, old school, old school, old school, like we had the discussion before, when the women were the property, basically, then they had to get dealt with. But we evolved past that. And now it seems like we're going back to that because the mothers are saying now, oh, if she bad enough to put a hand on him, she bad enough to get hit back. And that's something that, again, as a man, you should not want to do that. You
Right.
protect yourself, but you don't go out there and just beat some chick up.
Okay,
You
because
got to protect yourself.
I was about to get in trouble, but I agree with that. Okay, you reeled it back because I was like, wait.
No. I'm not saying go out there and get beat up. No. You
Right,
have to protect yourself. You do what you have to do to remove
right.
yourself from that situation, even if it means tossing her in the road. But you don't just go punch her in the face. You don't just go beat her up. Like, you cannot do that, young man. You cannot do that. And mom, please teach your sons not to go out there and she punched me, so I'm gotta beat her up. Like, please just teach them, protect yourself and get out of the situation. But that used to be a thing that men would understand. Hey, I will restrain
It
her.
used
I
to
will
be.
do my best, and I will get myself out of it. But
Well,
moms,
let me ask you this, and
mhm,
this is I'm gonna take a sharp left. from what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, we were talking about men's health.
Yes.
Who's to blame for the state of men when it comes to taking care of themselves and their body, both physically, mentally, spiritually? Who's to blame for the state of men in regard to that?
Now that piece I would put on other men.
Okay.
I'll put that on the bros, because we have this masculinity about us, this toughness about us, that we can't appear to be weak around our peers. Now, as I've gotten older, like I'm in a chat with some of my old heads, and we sitting here talking about the blood pressure medications we're on. We talk about, like, these are the conversations we have as adults. But as a younger man, it would never be you going to the doctor, Monday, hey, bro, hey, you've been looking out for yourself. Like, even with the homeboy Fat Pat, like, he just died at 48 years old back in August. And it's like, we were having conversations about things, and hey, man, you need to go get yourself checked out. You need to find out what's going on. But nobody was really on it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
There was a situation where he passed out at a gas station somewhere at one point. You know what I'm saying? So then my cousin was there. He found him. They took him in, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm going through some stuff. I'm trying to get things figured out. But there was not a thing of a sense of urgency on his part, but also not a sense of urgency on the homie's part to make sure that he was doing what he needed to do.
Well,
and I think, again, that's a us thing.
Do you think that that's a part of that is the fact that we have difficulty being vulnerable around each other because we spend so much time being strong for each other?
Yes.
For example, like, so if I was going through something with my old lady and me and you are talking, I think our relationship is to the point where it's like, you know what? Hey, man, maybe you should check yourself on this or check yourself on that. We could have that conversation. But that's me being able to be vulnerable about my dealings with someone else. Being vulnerable about your own mortality,
right?
Oh, that's a whole different story.
It's different. But when but as, and again, that's why I hold us men accountable, because you can actually see a change in your homies. You can see when things are going downhill. And that's a conversation that you have to be man enough to go to your homeboy and be like, hey, man, I know the party's been good. I know the hangouts and all that's been good, but bro, I see you're slipping, man. You're slipping. And how they used to say back in the day, you need to pull your coattail on this a little bit, man. I need to, hey, your skirt's showing, my nigga. Like, hey, bro, we need to address this because I see something in you. And that's where, once something happens, you start to hurt yourself, because you're like, I saw it happening and I didn't do anything about it. I didn't say anything. And again, that's
you ain't lying.
Right, bro. I'm telling you, and that's the vulnerable part about us. Like, we won't put ourselves in a position for a homie to be mad at us for saying, hey, man, you fucking up.
Right.
And we have to love one another enough to say that. And when they're gone, you know that's what you should have done, but it's too late at that particular point. Like, we were out there with the homies at during the weekend before his funeral, the weekend of the funeral. We out there talking about all the signs, and everybody saying, man, I should have. And it was so hurtful, like to see the bruhs in tears and all that shit there. And it's like, just one of us could have done something. We've seen things happen. We heard about things happening, but none of us said, hey, man, I'm taking you to go fix this. I'm taking you to go get this looked at, to get this checked on. So that's just as men. And again, because you can always have a woman that comes up and says, do it. Like I said, my wife is telling me to go and get that man, let that man put his knuckle in my asshole. Like, she is telling me to go do this. And
it sounds so violent when you say it.
Is it not violent? Is it not violent?
It is. I can only imagine, because I don't know yet. Thank God,
bro. I'll give you a couple years. But that's the thing, like, because I had my homeboy Moon and my homeboy Rick, like, they're 10, 15 years older than me, and they would tell me about it, and they were like, man, it feel like somebody choking you, and they would give me these horror stories. So now I'm like, I don't think I want to do this. And then I was talking to the homeboy for a couple weeks ago.
Wait, time out. Y'all don't understand. Like, I just heard Moondog say that in my head.
It's the piece to the homie Moon, man. But yeah, like, he was like, man, it feel like somebody choking you. But yeah, and then it's like I was talking to my homeboy for it, and I was like, man, maybe there's a way that they can like knock me out to do it, so I don't have to be awake for it. He was like, well, the colonoscopy they probably could, but I'm not sure if they. I'm talking to my nurse family and friends, like, hey, can they knock me out for this? Can I do an inpatient visit? Like I'm anything. I know I need to do it. I know I have to do it, but there has to be a way that I won't have to experience it. Like
Yeah, well, see,
if I
here's the
gotta wake up walking funny, I would much rather that than me knowing and hearing that dang on snap and hearing that lose. Bruh. But I'm telling, but it's probably gonna end up being a meeting of the homies that was like, hey man, I did it. Because like the homies, most of my homies are older than I am, and they've probably been through some of this stuff already. But it's just, I don't know, man. Find me a better way. Find me a better way. But yeah, when it comes to men's health, if it were easier for us to discuss these things out in the open amongst one another, I think the taboo of a lot of it would fall by the wayside, and I think a lot of us would do a little bit better as far as preparing ourselves. Now, so that part I will not blame the women on, because in most cases, women want you to go. They tell you to go because they go and get that dang on metal rod stuck up their cooches twice a year. They go up there and
medical procedures sound so violent
and get exactly like they ain't got a better way to do this. But when they put them up in them stirrups and put that probe all the way up in them, and
duckbill looking joint,
yeah,
yeah,
look like the tentacles on what's your boy from Spider-Man from Doc Ock.
Doc Ock.
Like I said, man, hey man, we grew up with sisters, so we've heard these horror stories almost our entire lives. So, bruh, but
well, here,
like,
let me ask
and
you
they're
this.
so open about it, like you were saying, they're open about it. We're not,
and they're open with each other about it. And like, see, the difference between you and I, you grew up and you had a very large group of male friends.
Yes,
I did not. Like when I tell you I had like my church friends, of course, but most of them were family.
Right.
And then I had Biz and D.
Right.
And everybody else, like I can't say I don't have any other friends, of course, but if you had to flip a coin on any given day, who is Tech with? It's them two. You know what I'm saying? That was it. Now, I had that feeling that I wish I could have done something when Biz passed.
Right.
Because me and him would have them conversations from time to time about the way he was feeling about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I didn't do was really and put my foot down when, because you know we go out and he'd be super drunk,
right?
And it was kind of like, man, literally, I can remember saying, "Nigga, it's not my turn, it's your turn." You know what I'm saying? Talking to D, like, yo, somebody go get him. Somebody go get him. Like, nigga, I had him last weekend. It's your turn. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. And I remember getting mad with him in cars, and I'm like, that's why I would always drive, because he would be lit, and so
still want to drive,
right? And so I had those conversations. You ain't getting ready to kill me and you in this car,
right?
You know what I'm saying? But that was easier for me to do than it was for me to look at the other stuff, because as much as it might have surprised other people, it was not a surprise to me and D about the pills and the cocaine and other stuff. Did it hurt? Yeah. Did we think it was to that degree? No. But did we know about it? Of course we did.
Right.
Of course. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so, and the story I tell people is like, look, we separated from Biz, not where we weren't hanging out, but that day-to-day interaction. Hey, look, man, I got married and started having kids. D got married and started having kids. Biz was still running the streets every night. Right. So Monday to Friday, we weren't with Biz like that. We talked every day.
Right.
But we weren't
that day-to-day see, and you with me, I'm with you every day. And I know exactly what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it. Yeah, that part of life is not the same. And that's
we also saw the people. So when you realize that, you know what, you see the people that you're surrounding yourselves with, and this is my segue into not just the physical health, but the mental health part of this whole thing. We see that in each other. We see, you can look at your homeboy, you can talk to your homeboy and see that his mindset is changing, You can look at and talk to your homeboy and see that his the way he sees the world or the way he sees situations is being augmented either by substances or by maybe even just the mental health of that person. Now, more recently, within the last 10 years, we've really started taking a look as a society at mental health in general. Because back then it was like, ain't nothing wrong with her, she crazy. Ain't nothing wrong with him, he crazy.
And everybody was crazy, They on that shit. They on that shit got them fucked up.
Right. And so instead of kind of dismissing it as that, I think we as men need to spend more time looking in the mirror with one another and looking at your homeboys and really assessing the situation. No man wants to be sunned. You know what I'm saying? No man wants his homeboy to be like, yo, bro, you screwing up. You mess. And I think that's a part of the reason why we kind of hold off from confronting our friends because it's gonna come out that way because I don't know how to talk to you any other way. You're my homie. I'm gonna talk to you like I talk to you, and it's gonna come off harsh. But the thing of it is, once it comes off harsh, you got to make sure you keep the conversation going because once they get mad, me with all my friends, everybody knows I don't give a fuck if you mad. I do not care. You can be mad, but just like with my family, I don't care if you mad. You better love me anyway. So be mad. You gonna cuss at me? Let's cuss. Go ahead. Let's get that done. But now that we've done that, let's move on to the next thing. Let's move on. Now, how are we gonna fix this? Because I'm not going anywhere. I don't give it. Hey, I will sit outside your house. I will call your mother and tell her, hey, he's acting like a. Tell him to come outside. Like it's just one of those things where if I love you, and I'm not gonna lose no friend over me trying to help. So let me help you, or we can box it out, but we're gonna be friends still. So I don't care. So when the boxing match is over with, we still got to deal with what's going on.
You better bring me a bag of peas. I'll bring you some ice, man, and we gonna sit there and talk to each other because we got to get through this. And I think that's where a lot of men will have those arguments, and then he tripping, and then we'll separate, and then when something happens, we come back together, and it's too late. So, men, you especially with the mental health stuff, when you see your homeboys tripping, man, dig in deeper. Don't walk away. There are times when you need to separate yourself, but don't walk away. You have to keep a line of communication in some kind of way. I may not be able to see you every day. I may not be able to put my hands on you, put my eyeballs on you, but I'm going to touch base. I'm going to make sure that you understand somebody's out here for you because I can't let you give up on yourself.
One thing
we allow way too often that to happen.
One thing we got to realize is that all behavior, and this gets kind of technical, all behavior is an attempt to meet a need, regardless of what the behavior is.
Right.
No, good, bad, or indifferent. Everything that you do is you trying to meet a need, whatever that need is, whatever you see it as a need. And what we got to understand is that a lot of times if we start addressing the need instead of the behavior, things start looking better. And that goes back to where men are in general in the state, in the state of men today in general. Ladies, what y'all don't understand is that our need was your approval. And when men were requiring the approval of women, we tried a whole bunch of stuff to get that approval.
Right.
And what you did was when we found out that you would give us some if we acted like this, now we train not only ourselves to act like that, we train everybody around us to act like that because, hey, bro, you can get some too. When that was too much, y'all shifted on us and then started dumping on these dudes. And now we're over here. So dudes were like, okay, well, we got to be more sensitive. Guess what? We're going to be super sensitive. I know you like hanging out with Tina, so I'm going to act just like Tina. And what do? We trained a whole bunch of dudes to act like Tinas. And so now, instead of Tims, we got Tinas. And so this is why I stand on, and I know there are things about men in general that should be addressed by men in your life. Your mental health, you're not going to be able, because I don't care how strong, smart, funny, intelligent a woman is, she cannot understand what it's like to be a man. Right. I don't care what you get cut off or added on. You can't understand what it's like to be a man. Because other men do understand that, and there's some inherent men stuff. We're not, talking about black, white, or anything
Right.
like that.
No,
I'm
no,
talking
no, no.
about
This is just man-made.
inherently
Right.
men. You can be from the mountains of Appalachia, or you could be from Timbuktu. You're a man. There are certain things that you understand. So
Indeed.
we as men need to start checking in on each other. We need to start checking in on each other. But women, this outward stuff that's going on out in these streets with these sassy or super thuggish men, that's your fault.
Yeah,
That's on you.
This is a creation of yours, and you're the only ones who can fix it. You're the only ones who can fix this, and I think that's where our game's going to end up coming from.
Yes,
tonight
sir.
anyway.
Yes, sir.
That's
I
where
was
our
just
game.
about to say it.
Yeah, that's the game for the night, and we can tag team this game here. Women, we mentioned it before, and I'm going to mention it again. If you stop fucking the niggas that commit all the crimes, you stop fucking the bad boys, you stop fucking the dope boys because you got some money, you stop. Guess what niggas gonna stop doing? They're gonna stop selling dope. They're gonna stop killing everybody in the neighborhood because all they doing it for most of the times these niggas is dying over y'all anyway. So hey, tell them niggas to stay out the way. And you know how to get more kids in school? You raise your daughters to like the nigga that's
in
actually that's actually on the honor roll, not the nigga that's flunking out playing football.
Yeah.
Now, if a nigga's playing football and he's on the honor roll, nigga, that's the win. And you need to direct your daughters that way. But don't let them see you out here with the dope boy and then tell them to do something different because they're going to follow right behind you. So, women, I promise you, it is up to you. If you tell your daughter, don't date no dirty niggas, don't date no nigga who can't read, don't date no nigga who can't do math. Hey, he ain't got to have all the money, but if he goes to work and has a legitimate income, like these are the people you need to start directing your little girls to. But don't tell her that she needs somebody who got money, because if she's gonna be chasing the money, it's gonna be some nigga with a bunch of easy money that's gonna get her, and then that's gonna keep that perpetuated throughout, and it's gonna continue. So, ladies, it's on you. It's up to you.
Yeah,
it's really up to you.
And also, y'all got to remember, you got to find a man with aspirations and drive.
Yeah,
you can dream all day, but if you ain't got no get up about you, he ain't about to accomplish anything. But the other side of this game, fellas, let's start helping each other out. Let's start looking out for one another. Check on your people, man. If y'all fell out a long time ago, go ahead and send that text message. Yeah,
lock in, man.
Right. And if you've got something that you need to check on, I'm gonna take my own advice. And Tommy, you're gonna have to take your own advice. If it's time to go see that doctor, if it's time to check sometime, whatever it is you got to do, hold yourself accountable, and let's start holding each other accountable, fellas, because real men are a dying breed. Indeed. We're a dying breed. And what we got to do is we got to raise and create some more of us.
Yes, we definitely have to make sure.
We don't all got to agree on the same topics. We don't all got to have the same worldview. What we do have to do is be men.
We got to agree to be men. That's the agreement that we have to have. We have to agree to be men.
Absolutely.
Real men, and be men that the next generation can aspire to.
Absolutely.
Because coming up, I know there was a lot of guys looked up to the dope boy because he had all the ladies, he had the money, he had the fly car. Like, that should not be our standard of finding who's a good man. So we've got to hold each other accountable, men, and ladies, y'all hold us accountable too, because it's up to you all completely. So that's the game for the night. Y'all can take it or leave it, but
take it or leave
it. You need to take this one for real.
Yeah.
Cousin.
Yo, what up, cousin?
We had us a great weekend.
Yeah, man.
Coming into the week, I know we saw some people go away. Pete Rose did. So
yeah, man. Good Lord.
We're gonna make sure that we hold each other accountable. We're gonna do the right things by one another. Hey, I hope everything works out for you. And we have not been canceled yet, so we're gonna have to do this again next Wednesday.
Got to do it again, man. So we'll be at it again. We'll see y'all next week, baby.
All right, man. We love y'all. Love you, boy.
Love you too, man. Peace.
Peace.